Hello, family. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is going okay. Today is another day, and we are going to be discussing something that is so important. And before I continue, thank you very much for joining me again. My name is African Queen Mo, and I'm based in Nairobi and also in Cardiff. And that's the reason why I call myself African Queen Mo Cardiff. Currently, I'm in Kenya, and today we have a very important topic to discuss, which is about the safety of our children in schools. Many parents have opted to put their children in boarding facilities in Kenya as young as 9 years old. Recently, which is just about a day or two ago, there's a school in a place called Nyeri, which is in Kenya, and 17 children died in a boarding house fire. That boarding house was made of wood and it had no fire escapes, it had no fire extinguisher, there was no matron on duty, and there was even burglar proofing, that is like metal bars, that was on the inside of the windows, and so the children had no escape. So, unfortunately, children as young as 9 passed away because of this fire. And they didn't just pass away like that. Some were burnt beyond recognition, and others were taken to the hospital. And some were even being seen on TikTok. People were posting videos of children trying to breathe, asking for oxygen, not getting any support. I tell you, this thing has really broken our hearts in Kenya. We are heartbroken. There's I think, 3 days of mourning. But in the end, we ask ourselves a couple of questions, you guys. For how long are we going to be experiencing these boarding school fires? This is not the first time that fire has broken up in boarding schools in Kenya. In fact, doing my research, I discovered there was an article that highlighted very many. So we're talking about, 1997, Bombolulu, 1999, Nyeri High, 2010, Endarasha Boys. And you see, this other one also was also Endarasha, Highland Endarasha. And 2021, Buru Buru girls, 63 girls. We're talking about so many hundreds of children dying in school where they're supposed to be safe. Now, we want to ask ourselves a question. I think it's time for us to reflect very seriously. A lot of, conspiracy theories are running around our streets. Like, for example, and I'll say it openly, people don't really believe that these are accidents. And surely the research suggests that majority of these school fires are caused by arson, mostly by the children themselves. They set their own domes on fire because of frustrations such as fatigue. They get very tired of the curriculum. Extracurricular activities are put inside the curriculum that makes extends the school period so long that the children get frustrated and they want to go home. So they think that that's going to be an easy way for them to go home. In other cases, the situation where they are frustrated with the school administration. So in one of the cases, one of these schools, what happened is that they locked up four male senior prefects at Nyeri High, locked them up and set them ablaze. Again, Burbur girls, 63 girls died. Balula girls, 26 girls died. Yeah. So it sounds like BBB. Let me tell you guys, a lot of children are very frustrated. They just reflect the pain of the society currently. Children are not immune to the pain of their parents. They're not immune to what's going on in society. If we're selling them fear and despair and hopelessness, what do you expect? They are young. They have no other way to express themselves except to burn the fire, to burn buildings, calling attention to themselves in this way. And in this case, killing their schoolmates, killing their colleagues. Very few of these fires are caused by like faults such as an electrical fault. They talk about electrical faults. They talk about basically mistakes, gas cylinders going burst and things like that. No, it's because usually of fear. And another problem that we have in our schools currently is substance abuse. All these 17 children are boys. This is a boys' school. Okay. Unfortunately, I also came across some research that tells us that of the majority of suicides that are taking place in the world, it's mostly men and males. Who knows? Maybe this situation happens. Maybe their frustrations start when they're young. Yeah. And now they have found an outlet for themselves. They get to the point where they're so frustrated, these young boys, and they're so tired, so fatigued, nobody's listening to them. and they set their schools ablaze. There have been 130 cases of school burnings, okay, and 63 of them are arson attacks. That means about half or more than half of them, okay? This is a University of Nairobi study on the reason for school burnings and dome burnings. These are the same children that are going to grow up, number one, traumatized, number two, desensitized, okay, very desensitized, and number three, as a potential problem for our societies. We have to reflect and introspect as Kenyans, especially, about what it is that we are exposing our kids to and what we're expecting from them. If we have the education system that has standards that are way too high for the children to achieve and which are setting a bar that is unachievable for our children or only achievable through stress, many parents have no other option except to take their children to boarding schools. Why? Because their jobs are not flexible. Many jobs are in developed countries are required to be flexible, to allow parents to get up and take pick up their children from school. I remember when I was working at one of these NGOs, international NGOs in the UK. I do remember that my colleagues would always call each other. I would hear them. At that time, I wasn't married, but I would hear the husbands and the wives talking on the phones, and they'll be saying, "Okay, it's your turn. It's your turn, darling, to go pick up the children." "Oh, yes, I'm going to pick the children up." So they get time off. They get to leave the office at 3:30 p.m. to go pick up their children at 4 o'clock at the creche and take them home because they're the ones who are going to be doing dinner tonight. In Africa, our employees don't have that kind of flexibility. So, unless you can actually hire help at home, which is becoming much more expensive now, and especially with the economy, it means that children are going to delay and stay in school until about 5, 6, 7, or even 8 o'clock at night. And it also means that our children are going to school much earlier at about 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. We heard recently of a child that was mauled by a hyena on his way to school at 5 a.m. And this is not a one, this is not an isolated incident. There are many children who are exposed to dangers. They're exposed to raging waters and floods. They're exposed to wild animals. They're exposed to child abductors and kidnappers nowadays. Yeah, they're exposed to rape. They're exposed to all kinds of abuse because they wake up early and they come back from school late. Much of the public transport is not available to them, and it doesn't prioritize our children. So, what I want to encourage employers is to create flexible working environments for parents of all calibers. Whether a parent is, somebody who is high level management, or whether somebody is at a lower cadre, there should be flexibility to allow parents to pick up their children and drop them off, and there should be flexibility for people to work from home as much as possible. This will help many parents to keep their children at home and to take their children to day schools rather than put them in boarding schools at a very young age of even tender ages at 9 years old, where they would start doing things like setting themselves on fire. To those parents who have lost their children, I want to convey my deepest condolences and also state that I feel very, very much pain imagining what you're going through, losing your child in such a manner when you thought that you put your child in a safe place. I wanted to also tell parents that as a parent who, has had my own challenges raising a child as a single parent, what I want to say is that, like my father, let me say, like my late father now, my late father told me once, many times, you cannot raise your child by remote control. And parenting is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that must be willing to make. It's a sacrifice for all parents to raise children, to raise well brought up children and well balanced kids. It is a sacrifice. You will sacrifice time and you will sacrifice a lot of money. Okay. So please don't think that parenting is easy. Don't go the easy way, putting your child in a boarding school. You face your child. Try and see if you can keep your child in a day school as much as possible. Again, boarding schools, I have a message for you. When parents bring children to your school, you are mandated to provide them with security. It is your responsibility to ensure security and safety for all the children in your school, as well as adequate attention to counseling and mentoring to ensure that the children are not frustrated, and if they are frustrated, that you have a way out. It's also against the law to require children to study hours that are beyond the school hours. So there are many children in boarding schools who are studying late until 9 o'clock at night. All right. They started class at 5 in the morning and they are reading way beyond 7 to 9, 10 o'clock at night. Young children, the age of 9 and 10 years old. Guys, this is child abuse. This is wrong and we have to stop it. We have to stop it as a society. And for those people who think that being suppliers to boarding schools is more important, than the safety of our children, you better find yourselves another business to do. Because I think parents should say enough is enough. Finally, I want to tell parents that I feel it in my spirit that this is not going to end now. I've already seen some sort of reports of other schools where arson is being committed right now, where school dormitories are going on fire right now. So, as the sun is down, as we are experiencing sundown right now, I'm going to cut it off here and say, parents, please be responsible. Please ensure, you know, that you pick the right school for your child and that you do not trade their, don't exchange their safety for your convenience. Because parenting is not convenient. To those parents again who lost their loved ones, to the siblings, to the families, I want to say, Poleni Sana, and may God give you a hiding place and give you comfort and send you angels to comfort you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening. May God bless you all. And that's it from me, African Queen Mo. Keep it here in African Queen Mo. Please remember to thumbs up my videos. That would be really nice. And remember to also watch me on TikTok. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye bye.